Hi Professor, so I'm going to be doing my project on health disparities in healthcare, and my name is Frida Stephanie Avila, so let's get started on this presentation. So what are health disparities? It's usually a higher burden of illness, injury, disability, or mortality experienced by one group relative to another. So we could compare like African Americans to whites, and I'll get more into that in the following slides. Many times, health disparities are not able to be held accountable when it comes to their quality of care, access to care, or their ability to be covered by their insurance. And this is evident because we claim to have a really good healthcare system in the US, but we have one of the poorer health outcomes. We spend a lot of money, yet we still have very poor health outcomes. Most common disparities are race, ethnicity, but other groups could also be included, such as environment, socioeconomic status, education, nutrition, social ties, sexual orientation, and location. So the people who live or experience things like health disparities are usually the stakeholders. They have much more to lose. It could be organizations that are interested in why these health disparities are happening in the first place. So those are some examples of what a stakeholder could be considered. So a quick fact with race and ethnicity: did you know that Black/African Americans, American Indians, and Hispanic groups are more likely to die from diabetes? Blacks and African Americans have the highest death rates for diabetes, heart disease, and cancer. And this can also be contributed to their locations, because they usually do live in lower income communities, and in lower income communities there's going to be more fast food restaurants because it's easier for them to get and it's cheaper for them to buy, to afford to feed their families. A person's location can contribute to their likelihood of encountering a health disparity, such as rural or low-income areas tend to have less clinics and medical staff. I can vouch for this. I do live in a low-income community, and there's maybe 2 clinics within a 30-mile radius that take Medicare, Medi-Cal. I have a IEHP, and so there's only very specific doctors that I can go to, and even then it's still super hard to get an appointment because there's just so many people that need healthcare. So, give me a second. Sorry, it's freezing on me. Okay, so who does it affect? Health disparities are more likely to affect people who are living in poverty or environmental threats, such as people who live in war or racial tension areas, so like Syria, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, places like that. Inadequate access to healthcare, individual or behavioral factors to contribute, and unfair educational opportunities. We'll actually talk more about the unfair educational opportunities since we've touched on a couple of the other topics. Since most students who do well in school are usually less likely to develop any type of health problems such as obesity, substance abuse, accidental injuries in comparison to those who have higher education, you can easily relate this to money. The more money you have, the more likely you are to get better health care, better quality of care, easier access than somebody who probably can't afford the things that most people with money can. A group who has experienced a large amount of health disparities would be members of the LGBTQ community, especially the youth. The LGBTQ youth is more likely to be tested for HIV than straight persons. The percentages were 14% versus 9% to straight persons, which is still an issue because most of us should be getting tested for STDs anyways, or for HIV anyways. So there's multiple issues here, but the fact that LGBTQ youth has a higher number, it just kind of tells you that they're more likely to be looked at as having HIV than somebody who's straight. So another quick fact on education. Education is also a big factor to medical outcomes because people with less than 12 years of education, so less than high school, the infant mortality rate is higher than those with 13 plus years of education, so after you leave high school and higher. So obesity is also higher in low-income groups because of their limited incomes, which makes nutrition more difficult for them when all they can afford is fast food. As I was saying before, groups like Blacks or African Americans, Hispanics, a lot of Asian or Pacific Islanders also are usually in those lower income groups, and usually much of what they can afford to eat is fast food, so which contributes to the obesity being higher in those low income groups. Why should we care? Why is it important? If patients are not being taken care of, especially not those experiencing the health disparities, it could result in unnecessary costs, and overall quality of care for everyone could be poor. So if you're not taking care of everybody, then it's gonna affect. If you're not taking care of a small group, then it's gonna affect everybody, because eventually that level of care is gonna trickle down to you. So this is especially important since the population worldwide is becoming more diverse. And according to Artiga, by 2050, half of the population is going to be of color. And as I can remember, I believe it was going to be 52% of the population is going to be of color by 2050. And that's only 30 years from now. So fixing this issue would also cut down on costs. According to Artiga, about $42 billion is lost every year due to economic losses because of preventable death. If they would have been helped in the first place, they wouldn't have to keep going back to clinics or to the hospitals, and then they would have prevented their death, or they wouldn't have spent as much money, or the U.S. wouldn't have spent as much money. So it's just the initial contact and care that is also causing a problem for people in these groups, because they could be sent away just to keep coming back. So some resources that I have provided were Artiga's article, which focuses on the key facts in health and healthcare by race and ethnicity. And if you click on this link, you can go here, and this is one of her other articles. As you can see here, she just kind of gives you a breakdown of all the things that have happened, especially because of the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act did make insurance more accessible, but it still left a lot of people uninsured. And she goes more into this in this article. So, like here, across racial and ethnic groups, most measures of health status remain stable or improved compared to the prior ACA. So things did improve, but as you can see here, the groups of color compared to whites, the health status actually got worse than it was before. So this is those people that were left uninsured that just didn't make the cut for the Affordable Care Act in comparison to whites. So you can go to the other one. Okay, and then this other one is just the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, which is what can we do to reduce the healthcare disparities, and what are we doing now? Like, where are we right now? And so this just takes into account, like I mentioned earlier, the stakeholder engagement, which would be organizations that are interested in fixing this issue, people that are involved in those communities that want to make a difference, and then why it's relevant in the first place. And see, even here it says the report found that racial and ethnic minorities tend to receive a lower quality of healthcare than non-minorities, even when access-related factors such as patient's insurance status and income are controlled. So this specifically points out that even if they have insurance, even if they have a good income, they still experience the health disparities, which is something that we're trying to fix. Okay, and the last link that I added was from the US Health and Human Services, and it just goes a little bit further into like what health disparities are. Like there's a definition, it's just the differences between specific population groups and like in comparison to each other. The term health equity broadens the disparity concept by asking why are some populations at greater risk of illness and preventable disease than others. And it's just the deeper analysis of like why we came to the conclusion of why are these groups suffering more than others and why are they experiencing more than others. And a great point that I read in this article was that in health equity, they focus on the root causes or social determinants, which can actually be looked at as like some of the biggest parts that cause health disparities, but it doesn't take into account the lack of resources that are being used. So these 3 resources are really good if you want to get additional information on like what I was talking about. Mine is just pretty broad, but these are 3 really good resources that you can look into to get more information in case something I said wasn't as clear. And then again, down here you have the economic, social, physical environments, and then the services that are usually like available and also contribute to why we're having health disparities in the first place. And so just the last page is my references. Okay, so if you have any questions, I really did enjoy researching this topic and I wish I could talk more, but my timer is running out. Thank you, Professor. I hope you enjoyed my video and thank you.